Today I'm going to show you how to make an airsoft target box using some priority mail boxes you can pick up at your local post office, some tape, and a pair of scissors. You might be able to use some other items as well, but for now you should at least have these items on hand. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold up this box and tape it up. Now that we've finished taping our box up, we're going to have to reinforce the back. This is going to be our front of the target. As you can see, the back is not very firm or strong, and almost any higher end gun is going to punch through the back, so we have to reinforce it. And that's why we've got these. Even more priority mail boxes. In case you're wondering, these cost nothing and are supposed to be used to ship things, but you can use these as a great alternative to, tearing up the house, finding some boxes somewhere, or maybe you don't even have boxes. This makes sure that you can always have a steady supply. Now let's cut up cross sections about this size. We'll start that now. Okay, now since this box happens to be around the same width as our other box, we can just cut down this seam right here. You probably can't see it on camera, but there's a seam right here. And we don't even have to measure or trace out the bottom of the box to make our cuts. That's going to make our job a whole lot easier. Once you've got the flaps open, you can easily see where we're going to have at least 4 of these sections. I've basically cut down all the flaps on the edges and just left the longest side, and then cut that side in half, which just happens to be just right for this box. That's going to help us a lot, like I just said. And you're going to have a lot of this chaff left over, a lot of this junky stuff. You can throw this at whoever comes and bothers you when you're doing this, or something. And now I'm going to cut this last one in half. We're going to tape it inside the other box, reinforce the back, and we're going to have an airsoft target box to go almost. Just going to add a few more modifications. You can also use that chaff to do your own modifications as well, which is another idea in case you're not feeling too grumpy at the moment. Put that to some useful purpose. Alright, time to reinforce the back of this box. We've got our cardboard cutouts. They look like they're ready, they look like they're going to fit. Let's stick them in. Turn it over. Stick them in. It's going to be right. And they actually stick in so good, as you can see, they actually fit so well. There's probably no need to tape this, although probably if you shoot at it enough it will start falling apart. If you want to, you can glue it, which is probably what I'm going to do afterwards, just to make sure it doesn't come out. But for now that's alright, just for instructional purposes you can see how that works. For this next step, we're going to use a medium flat rate box, which you can also pick up at UPS, post office, and we're going to stick that to the front of this box, and you'll see in just a sec why we're going to do that. And it's going to make it a lot sturdier, more stable, and a little cooler when it's done too. We're going to have to mod that other box as well. So now let's put this one together. And it's got these self-adhesives right here. It's going to make our job easier. I guess the United States Post Office likes, making materials for airsofters. I guess that wasn't their original intention, but it sure works nicely together. And it makes everything quite easy, actually. sure they stick on well. See, self-adhesive sometimes won't stick right, but there we go. Nice little front, kind of nifty. Put this in the back. It's going to go like this. And this is going to be our front. Notice how well that sticks. Either way, see that, how it lines up? It's going to be really useful when we put this together. I'll show you that in a little while. We're going to mod this one in the back. And that's where our target's going to go. Alright, as you can see here, I've already put these two boxes together. This is the finished job. What I did here is I grabbed this other box in the back that we had already been working on and taped it onto the box in the front. I did this by modifying the box flaps, the one in the rear, and then taping them down with tape. Did the same thing on the bottom here, and on the sides followed the same idea, except I did much smaller flap cut and taped that down as well. Same thing on this side. Now that we've got this box together, I think it's time to put our airsoft target in the front. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a sec. Okay, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be cutting a hole through the front box to make room for our airsoft paper targets. You can download these from any site and print them out of your home printer. I've actually uploaded 2 of these as shown here onto my website, which you can find at www.emptycompanystore.com/blog. Look for a post on building an airsoft target box. We're going to need to cut a hole that is slightly smaller than the paper most printers use, which is an 8.5 by 11 inch size. To do this, I'm going to use a ruler and a Sharpie to mark out where I'm going to cut. Okay, as you can see, I've already finished cutting through the front and back of this box that we put in front here. And I used a little hobby knife to do this. You can use anything else, even a razor blade if you have one of those. I used what I cut off the front. I stuck it in here, used it as a guide to cut the back out since I couldn't use my ruler in there anymore. And the next step is kind of optional, but I would highly recommend it if you have a higher end gun. Okay, so the next step is going to involve me using a piece of cloth to slow down high velocity bullets. And I want to do that using a piece of this old shirt and a pair of gingers, real nice cloth cutting scissors. So let's get started and we'll show you how that works. So now I've got a nice square piece of cloth between the front and back of this airsoft target. I use this stapler to secure it in place. You could use tape or glue or anything else you have lying around, but the stapler was really handy to get this job done quickly. Now the concept behind this flap of cloth you see here is that high velocity bullets exiting a high velocity gun are going to be slowed down before they ever hit the back of this target, preventing them from causing undue damage to the backing that we created and exiting through the back. This is the same reason that caliber is used to stop bullets today, and the walls in your house won't stop most calibers of ammunition. We can take advantage of the fact that this cloth will give versus rupture when a high velocity bullet or BB hits it, which is going to make our airsoft target box much more durable in the long run and more effective. Now, I've just finished taping the airsoft paper target to the front of our box. I also decided to cut a small slot in the side so BBs could be drained quickly once they are collected inside the reservoir. Now, some of you are going to ask, why should we collect the airsoft BBs if we aren't going to use them in our guns? Now, that's a good topic to talk about because higher end airsoft guns tend to have closer barrel tolerances than lower end ones and make reusing BBs a very, very bad idea because number one, they deform in the mechanism, and then when they strike very high impact, they tend to deform even more, and they catch dirt and other stuff that you wouldn't want in your gun. You know, you wouldn't want your $400 KWA to go to pot, and you just want to keep that thing running smoothly. But you want to collect BBs, you don't have them lying around all over the place. and you don't have to walk on them, your mom doesn't have to come yell at you, and it's a good idea to keep your BBs in one place and dispose of them properly. And now we're ready to go on the field. What I have here is around 300 to 350 FPS. I'm not sure, I haven't chromed it yet, but should be a pretty good example of how this airsoft target box we built here will put up to some average gun, higher end FPS range. I'm using 20 grams in case you're wondering, and let's see how it goes. Okay, some of those came out because I hit the sides. A little bit rusty on my aiming. Let's see how it stood up to the test. Okay, now most of the BBs went through the front of the box and hit the back, except for a few that jumped off, as you can see by this nick right here. But none of them, however, went through the back, which means it's doing its job real well up to now. If you open this little flap right here, you can see that the BBs are all inside, like they're supposed to be, not on the floor and everywhere else where they don't belong. So, alright, that's how to make an airsoft target box. Hope you liked this and found this informative. Check out my website and subscribe.